These are certain key points to hit that happened in the 1920s. One of the big key points in the 1920s was the growth of industry. You had Henry Ford, who created the Model T car, but was also credited for the assembly line. The assembly line helped cut down the production of the vehicle in hours and reduce the cost of how much the car was worth, which turned his employees into consumers. Another thing that happened was the extension of credit lines. Everybody paid for cash within the nation, and then you were able to buy things on credit. Another thing that happened in the 1920s were new products. With the cars being invented, you could now stop at motels along the way to your travels. You had to have service stations so that you could get fuel, gas. They also included mechanic works that you could have your car looked at and fixed if anything happened along the way. You had electricity mainly in the cities. The REA wasn't established yet, and power lines weren't brought to rural areas. So you had washing machines in the cities. A lot of people had refrigerators. A lot of people had air conditioning and things that benefited from having electricity. And they also had prohibition. In the 18th Amendment stated that the consumption and production of alcohol was banned in 1919. This contributed to organized crime. You had people smuggling alcohol from the borders of Canada into the U.S. And a lot of people in the cities didn't care about the law and had underground parties where you could drink alcohol. Women were starting to do what they wanted. They could wear what they want. Hence, flapper girls. They were going against their parents, and a lot of the fundamentalists seen this as a turning point in the country that was bad, and you had to get back to religion. Two of the presidents that were presidents during this time was Warren Harding, and he had a bunch of scandals put against him. They didn't come out until after he had died, but to reflect back on the government, it showed people that scandals could happen in politics, and no one liked politics at all. You also had Calvin Coolidge, who was very promotional when it came to laissez-faire. He didn't believe that presidents should be a part of any type of business and that they should just leave business alone. Then you had the stock market crash in 1929. There was an overproduction of products and a very high economic weakness. You had refrigerators that were being bought on installment loans, and the businesses would write them off in the books as paid for when really they had only had the upfront payment and installment payment, but really they hadn't been paid off. So they started to go into debt. You had the banking crisis where they're handing out way too much money and cash on hand wasn't being monitored. You had people living paycheck to paycheck, and when they lost their jobs, they were out of work. I mean, people just started going bankrupt. They weren't paying back their home loans. They weren't paying back their installment loans, and the stock market crashed. And Black Tuesday was on October 29th, 1929, and it's the first day signifying the Great Depression.